Everybody, welcome to the third episode of the Wiley Wire. I'm your host, Brandon Wiley. Today, we're going to follow up on the fraud we covered last week, do a deep dive into the protesting, and we're going to cover the NFL weekend, my picks, and what a Bears-Packers game. Welcome to the Wiley Wire. This fraud is absolutely crazy. Reporting now is that $700 million has been flown out in cash out of Minnesota MSP Airport, wrapped in cash, going back to other countries. I'm sure Somalia had a huge chunk of that. You got to be absolutely stupid to think that they didn't know about this. Like, absolutely just dumb to not know that politicians were involved in this. And just the fact that you can fly that much cash out is just crazy to me. Right through TSA, right through all that. It's crazy. $700 million. Just think of how much money that is. Flying out in airplanes to other countries from Minnesota. So let your mind wrap around that while I play this clip one, just the news covering this. It's unbelievable. Take a look at clip one.
In plain sight. We're seeing corruption in plain sight. Most of the remittances that go back often go to these foreign countries, and there's substantial portions of their economy, whether it's Guatemala and Mexico and other countries. Their own workers are sending that money back. But this is at a level that is just unprecedented. And I really think we need to look into a way to track that and to actually show that we can hold them accountable, and that type of suspicious activity leads to fraud, arrest, and what we're seeing unfold every day in Minnesota, which seems to get worse by the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. I want to ask about the two most common way illegal aliens, also legal aliens, by the way, legal residents of the United States, but move money out of the country, remittance payment centers, and of course these cash couriers like the ones that we're working out of the Minneapolis airport. Is there any thought in Congress to requiring that a remittance payment business or a cash courier ascertain and make sure that before they move money, the person that they're moving money from out of the United States is a lawful resident or citizen?
Yeah, I think that should be a requirement. And also they should have some kind of certification that you are a person that we can trust, our intelligence forces have already vetted, that you can be carrying these huge amounts of cash back and forth to other countries. And I don't think those types of laws are in place. And I think that's a really good way to start having accountability and also tracking where this cash leaving the United States is going. And look what it would have led to had we paid attention to this over the last 10 years, and what you reported earlier on $700 million. I mean, that's almost $1 billion going, I think it was 700 million going, through an airport in Minneapolis, not JFK. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Watching that clip again, it just boggles my mind that they can allow you to ship out that type of cash with no checks and balances. Like if you're going to commit fraud, you're probably going to use cash, number one. Number two, they're flying it out in bags, and like the woman said in the clip, there's got to be some accountability on how much cash you can send out. It'll totally eliminate a lot of the options for fraudsters to embezzle money out of the United States. But again, it's just wacko to me. This just didn't come out of thin air. This was going on a long time, and it's been allowed to happen for obvious reasons. The next clip I'm going to play is from David, the guy that was doing all the research on the fraud in Minnesota. He's a Minnesota resident. His family lives there. And he's the guy that Nick Shirley contacted and put this video out. Nick Shirley has all the followers, and this man, David, is the one that has the data. They worked together to get this out, and thank God they did, because there's a lot more coming and a lot more videos dropping that are going to be even worse than what we've saw. Here's David. He's addressing Minnesota government officials about the fraud he uncovered. It's pretty wild. Play clip 2.
So what I have here is a 5-year recap of all of these CCAP money, that's child care assistance payments, for the last 5 years. The top 102 recipients of that, 84 of them are Somali owned. You know how many children I've seen at those child care centers? over the last 7 years? Zero, not one. There's another pile of money, and it's called Great Start. And that money is given to the facility to train their staff. Well, if you don't have any kids, you don't need any staff. Then what I believe is the core of all this is this non-emergency medical transportation. So a search showed that Minnesota recognizes 1,020 NEMT companies. Almost 900 of them are Somali-owned. So in the second video, Nick Shirley and I went to 16 of them. I've actually been to about 70 of them. They don't exist. They're in an apartment building. One of them's a liquor store. Another one's a wire transfer. Another one is something totally unrelated. It's a grocery store. There are no vehicles. And the average NEMT company in the United States has 20 vehicles, and each vehicle generates about $70,000 a year. So you run those numbers, 800 companies, 20 vehicles, $70,000 a year, and it's an enormous sum of money that's going out. So my feeling is that chasing the money transfers and the wires and the SARS is great, but you got to drop like Batman on Minnesota DHS, because they're the ones who are writing the checks. They're the ones allowing the fraud to happen. Look, you can blame the Somalis, but if you stick your hand out and someone puts $100 in it, yet you're going to stick your hand out again and keep the people who are putting the $100 in have got to stop doing it. They got to get out of their office and go out and look at these facilities and say, this is an apartment building. You can't have a transportation company in an apartment building. And the vast majority of these companies exist on paper only. They're not real. They have no assets, no office, and no vehicles. The other thing is that when a child care facility receives federal funds, they must abide by Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VI, which says that you cannot be exclusive to one ethnic group in your child care facility. It's discrimination. So when DHS goes out and does these inspections, they always do them announced. So they call ahead to let them know they're coming. So of course, you stockpile the kids in there and everything looks great. But do they actually count the number of kids that are there? Because some of these facilities are licensed for 120 kids and they don't have any kids. And even if they do load kids in, they got 10 of them. But DHS doesn't go to go with 10 kids. Wait a minute, you're licensed for 120. What's going on here? They have no sign-in or sign-out sheet like a normal daycare is. So there's no way to track if there are any kids there, who they are, what race they are, any of that. So I'm asking for the Fed's help to come in and get to DHS and tell them get their act together. Thank you.
So we're going to keep covering this fraud news as it unravels. I know there's a bunch of videos that are supposed to come out that are unfortunately 10 times worse than what we've already saw. So there's no chance we're not going to cover the trending news on the fraud. It's such a big story, and that's what we do at this podcast. We cover the trending news. We'll keep you updated on new news we find out about that and these new videos that are supposed to come out. And another thing I wanted to touch base on is this Greenland move. Early in the year, the Greenland news kind of came out that the United States met with Greenland, offered them a great proposal to take over the country, move it to the United States. The Greenland people at the time seemed to be happy about it, but I don't know the polling on that. And it fizzled out a little bit. Now it's back. Trump just came out last 24 hours and said, if we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. I don't think this is going to be a forceful move. I think it'll be swift and done face-to-face with a deal. Whatever is best for the United States, I'm for. But I do want the Greenland people to be for it because I don't want a negative, aggressive approach by the United States. I think that's not a good thing for us. Greenland's got to be happy to have the United States rather than Russia or China. So we'll keep you updated on that story as it goes. It started trending this morning. In our next segment, we're going to talk about the protesters and the ICE agents and what's going on across the country. We did a deep dive on it, and we'll be back with that segment. We're back with the second segment of the Wiley Wire. We're going to cover a deep dive into immigration, the protesting, and all the assaults on law enforcement. This is America. Everybody has the right to protest. Whatever side you are on, you have something that you feel dear to your heart. That's why this is a great country. You're able to protest. But you got to do it peacefully. Everybody knows that. But I don't think this is a protest. This is not protesting. Anarchy, spitting in cops' faces, throwing stuff at police officers, blocking police officers trying to do their job, law enforcement, ICE agents doing their job. That's not protesting. That's a legal activity. And, it's terrible, actually, to watch. So I'm going to start with immigration. Every immigrant that came here, you just got to look at it this way. They knew at some point that this could possibly happen. Whether it's 20 years from now, a month from now, whatever time they crossed the border, came here illegally, or maybe they just flew here from another country and overstayed their visa or whatever, or overstayed the time frame they're supposed to be in a country, you knew that there was a chance this could happen. If you go to another country, let's just say I moved to, call it Italy, and I was supposed to be there for 45 days. I'm just making numbers up. I knew in the 46th day, I'd have to be out of the country. You got to let them know when you're coming, when you're leaving, where you're staying. If you've ever flown overseas, on your international form when you enter the country. If I decide that I'm just not going to go back to America, I'm going to stay there, there's a chance that I could be deported. That's common sense. Everybody knows that. Do I feel bad for some of the kids that have illegal parents that were born here? Yeah, I do. There's always going to be people I'm going to feel bad for. But the parents knew they were doing something that possibly can have an alternative that is this. You could get deported. That's a possibility. So it doesn't matter if you've been here 20 years or 1 year or 1 month. You always knew this could be a possibility. Different leadership was in. Even some of the Democrats back in the late 90s, 2000s, they were pro-border, telling immigrants to come here legally, and then it changed, and then, it flip-flops. And I blame the politicians for most of this, letting it happen for whatever reasons it was. But doesn't take away the fact that ICE agents got to do their job. They're border patrol. They're supposed to protect the border. They're supposed to get people out of the country that aren't here legally. Now, there always are going to be situations where you're going to feel bad for somebody. You're going to feel bad for a kid and all that. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. That's why this is a difficult topic. But you got to look at the two people that are in control of it, the politicians and then the people that were adults that came. You put your future child in jeopardy by not getting your citizenship, and you put your current child that maybe you brought over with you in danger. I feel horrible about this too. When I was in Chicago last winter, I saw so many illegals laying around the streets with kids, like tons of kids. Those are the true victims that came here. The woman with 3 kids sitting on Michigan Avenue, Randolph Street, in boxes, kids in full, coats on. They're selling M&Ms and stuff, and they have nowhere to go. Those are the real victims because they were told to come here. And that's on the politicians. But it doesn't mean they shouldn't be deported. It's just a fact. It's unfortunate, but that's sometimes what bad politicians can do. That's what happens when you take advantage of the vulnerable and all you care about is yourself, your votes, your poll numbers, and not what's the right thing. So that's my take on the immigration end of it. Now, the people that are protesting, you got to know what you're protesting. So are you just protesting saying every illegal should just be able to stay here no matter what? Should you get the criminals out only and leave the non-criminals here? Like, what's the game plan? What's the reasoning behind it? And the problem is there really is no reasoning behind it. I mapped out the sad stories of it, the criminals. This isn't something you can just protest. Like, it's not ICE's fault. They're doing their job. It's the politicians' fault. The politicians let these people in sanctuary cities, and these poor immigrants were duped. That's on the politicians. If you still feel the right to protest, that's your right for being an American. That's the great thing about this country. But protesting isn't spitting on ICE, spitting on law enforcement, blocking their cars, impeding their opportunity to do the job, getting in their way, putting them in jeopardy, trying to run them over with your car. I mean, that's vigilante stuff. That's anarchy. That's not protesting. And America does not allow that. That's why you're seeing people getting hurt, people getting slammed on the ground, people getting arrested. Unfortunately, you're seeing people die at times. And I'm telling everybody this, if you're going to go to one of these protests, I'm completely against it, by the way, because they're not really protests. You're putting yourself in severe danger. Number one, there's paid people there, paid actors to rile up the crowd and get innocent people that are emotionally manipulated to do things they don't understand what they're really doing. Shame on the politicians telling people to get in their faces and putting citizens in danger, being your patsies so somebody can get killed so you can go on TV and talk about justice and all that, and so your poll numbers go up. Shame on you for that. It's a terrible thing, and it's unfortunate. My advice to everybody, even people that believe in the immigration and they should all stay here, and you want to protest that, that's your right to be an American, but I wouldn't go to these things because you're putting yourself in danger. Second thing I'm going to have to say is don't bring your kids. I saw videos of 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds and older at these events with their parents, and they're holding them and smiling and stuff. Like, it's like you're putting your children in harm's way, and they don't even know what's going on. So be smarter as parents. It's not a place for kids. They want a false flag to happen. They want somebody to die so they can march up and start having these more chaotic scenes. Their poll numbers are going to go up. They can use who died as a patsy. Trust me. There's other ways to protest. This isn't one of them. This does not look like something that's smart to do. And you don't know what these ICE agents have been through. So you have no idea. Like the guy that shot the girl in the car, he was dragged 300 feet by a car by an illegal 6 months prior, was in the hospital. So you're going to try to run that guy over the car again. The person that did it is obviously mind warped to try to do something like that. Got to be mind warped to try to run over a police officer or an ICE agent with your car. They had no idea that he almost was ran over before. You know, these people have no idea. If you can spit in this guy's face, you have no idea what he's going to do to you. So take it back a notch and stay home. Most people with a head on their shoulders, whether they believe in ICE or not, they know not to go. So that's my take on it. We're going to come back with some positive news. Big Bears fan. Big sports fan. I'm going to get to more sports topics as we go. I cover the trending news, and this is trending all over the feed. NFL and ICE and Minnesota fraud, and that's what's on the feed. So that's what I'm covering. It's hard not to cover these things when you open your feed up, see trending, and that's like the top couple stories. We'll get back at the NFL news and my picks in the next segment. That Bears game was the best Bears-Packers game I've ever watched. 3 weeks ago, I said the other Bears-Packers game where the Bears came back in overtime and won was the best one I've ever saw. It was until this one. Saturday night was by far the best football game I probably watched in a long, long, long time. But I've also never seen a team just shit the bed like the Packers. What are they doing in the fourth quarter? They call a timeout. They get together, come back on the field, and get a delay a game penalty. Like, that's unheard of. And then they missed the field goal. The Bears took advantage of every mistake. They weren't playing well, and then they just, boom, just started knocking off points like crazy. And that's kind of been the trend for the Bears this season. They get themselves in a hole and they find a way to come back. But this game, I actually was done. I didn't think they had a chance. I was about ready. I was watching the game near my house, about ready to close the tab out, and they got a touchdown. I started thinking there's not enough time. Then they get a touchdown, the 2-point conversion. What a game. I'm never doubting the Bears again. I don't care what the score is. But I guess there's been reports that Ben Johnson was playing the Patriots, when they won the Super Bowl against the Falcons, came all the way back. He's playing that in the locker room. Amazing. And that throw Caleb Williams had, he almost looked like the Jordan pose. It's trending online. When he threw that pass off balance, falling down to get the first down and 4th and 8. I mean, the whole season was right there. If he didn't make that play, the season's pretty much over. But that's why they got Caleb Williams. I was not a pro Caleb Williams guy after the first season, and I know he was on the hot seat the first 2 games, but I'm a Caleb Williams fan now, that's for sure. Watching him perform and roll out and make that play on 4th and 8, that's elite quarterbacks. Only there's a couple in the league that can do that. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. There's a few others, but those are the 2 that stick out of my head. And it was just amazing watching that game. And of course, being a Bears fan, getting beat up by the Packers for the majority of my life, this was really fun to watch. So I was 4-0 on picks, which I'm happy about. I did pick the Bills to beat the Jaguars. Josh Allen has to put his cape on, which he did in the end. I think it was a 4th and 1. He pushed the entire Jaguars team into the end zone. You could just see the effort in him, like I'm not losing this game, pushing all those guys through to the end zone. But it got called back, I think. They said he went down. But he ended up doing it again and scoring. Bills win. I picked that game. Second game with the Bears, I said they had to score 21 to win, and they did. 21 was the minimum amount of points I said they had to score to win, and they scored 31. So third game, though, 49ers-Eagles. I picked 49ers. Josh Purdy's trying to make a name for himself. When I say that, I don't mean like he doesn't have a name for himself. I mean like he got to the Super Bowl. He lost when he was really young. He wants to be an elite quarterback. He wants the attention on him as one of the top in the games. He's ready to win a Super Bowl. He's going for it. He looks pretty good. The Eagles were the Eagles. I said if they come out being the Eagles team that I saw sometimes throughout the season, they're going to lose this game, and they did. Patriots-Chargers, I was disappointed with the Chargers. They showed no offense at all. Drake May just did what Drake May does, consistent, make the right plays. And I said, if he does that, that's winning football, and the Patriots will win, and that's exactly what happened. I forgot to touch base on the Panthers-Rams. Kudos to the Panthers, man. I mean, what a season. They were in turmoil last year, and now they're in the playoffs, right there, ready to almost beat the Rams. The Rams ended up winning, but it was a great game. I think the Panthers' future is bright next season. I think they're going to be really good. And that division isn't the best. They have a good team. So Panthers fans, don't hang your heads. It was a good game. But again, you're playing the team that scores 30 points a game, top scoring team in the league, a lot of experience. So I was right on that game. So I'm 4-0. And tonight I'm picking the Steelers. Steelers are going to win this game. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers go, but I got Aaron Rodgers winning one playoff game. I don't see him going any further than that. But that's my football take. And we'll be back with the episode wrap.
Good. He's under pressure. He throws and it's going to be intercepted at the 2-yard line by Tyron Hopper. It's 4th and 19. Have to go for the 51-yard field goal off the foot of Santos. And that one is good. On the ground. Swift. Can he get into the end zone? He can. Chicago. In the 23. Pass to the outside. Finding room here. Golden. Golden is inside the 10. And Golden will go into the end zone for the touchdown. In the pocket. Fires caught. Touchdown. Olamide Zaccheaus into the end zone. Has time. Throws. Caught. 2 points to try to make it 6-up. And the kick is no good. 49, Williams chased, throws, and it's caught at the 30-yard line. Williams throwing, and it's caught for the touchdown by DJ Moore. One last gasp. Moving guys around, fires to the end zone, and it is broken up. The Bears win it in a crazy one.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching the Wiley Wire, episode 3. We'll be back Friday for episode 4. Looking forward to seeing you, and thanks for watching.
The Wiley Wire dives into sports, music, politics, health, and trending topics for entertainment, info, and education. Listener discretion advised. May include mature themes, explicit language, controversial views, or sensitive content. Not suitable for under 18 or all audiences. Parents, please supervise. All opinions from hosts, guests, and contributors are personal and don't reflect our official views. Information isn't guaranteed to be accurate. Do your own research and consult qualified professionals.